Alright, for this short video, we're going to walk through creating a custom list view for objects in Salesforce. So a list view, just to give you an understanding, is basically a pared down report, an easy way to view the information within your org relatively easily. So a list view is on any one of these objects: individuals, accounts, donations, staff, campaigns. Most likely you're going to go to individuals, accounts, or donations most frequently. So when you're trying to figure out which object to go to, think about the page and the information that's on the page that you want to pull into a list view. So real quickly, we've got a few of them set up. I'll pull up this one that I created a little while ago. We don't have a lot of data in our Salesforce developer org. This will give you an idea. So we set criteria to look at any donor that's given over $50 in their lifetime that lives in Minnesota. So there's just a couple here as an example, but I'll show you how to customize this. So we're going to start fresh. Actually, let's go into edit, and you'll see how this is summarized. So I gave it a unique name here. Salesforce populates that name. And then we look at different fields. So we just walk right down this list. So I wanted to filter it by total gifts on their record. So I'll open up my record so you understand where that's filtering by. So if I went to Matt Foster's record, total gifts is right here. Obviously that's a little bit more than $50. So if we go back to this edit list view, total gifts is going to be greater or equal to $50. So these functions are really similar to like Excel, formula functions. Hopefully you learned this in school as well. But same thing. So if you want to go mailing state equals Minnesota. And this one we added Wisconsin in here as well. So you can add up to 5. Actually, you can keep going in Enterprise Edition. Quite a few different field filters. So the more you filter, the less your data, the less length of the list will be. So after you do this, you also want to look at your logic, because if you say I want to filter by 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, it's going to keep going down that until you get less and less data. But for this example, we wanted to look at 1. So if anyone gave total gifts greater or equal to $50, and then we wanted to look at number 2 or number 3. So obviously you can't live in Minnesota and Wisconsin at the same time, or your address can't have both of those at the same time for your primary mailing. So it's going to look at whether, first it's going to filter everyone down to total gifts $50, then it's going to look if they live in Minnesota or they live in Wisconsin. Hopefully that logic and some of those make some sense. And then lastly, you're going to want to pull your columns over. So if I go back to this list view, the columns that you pull over is what's going to show up in this list view. So name, account name, title, phone, email. That'll be the same down here. Name, account name, title, phone, email. So if you want other data points to pull over, you can grab them from here and then pull them on over. You do not email, donor type, just all the different information. Some of these you probably don't use. So look for exactly what you want to use before you pull those over, and then we'll go ahead and pull those over, and that'll show up in that list view. Usually you don't want more than a dozen fields over here, otherwise you got to scroll right and left to view some of those. If there's more than a dozen, typically you just want to create a new list view. So then you can restrict visibility. You can have it so it just only you see it as you logging in your username, or you can do all users for all the users within your Salesforce org. So we're going to cancel this out. And this is what you would see. So while you're in list view, let's go to donations here quick. So donations are the same thing, all donations. It's going to show all the donations that are in our Salesforce organization. And there's a couple really cool things you can do in list views that you can't do in reporting. One is inline editing. So as you scroll over, there's certain fields that you can edit just right in line here. So in case you wanted to maybe edit that's the close date, or the date that the donation came in. All you do is double click. So whenever you see that little pencil logo here, you can just double click, and then you can change that date, hit save, and it'll save it right in line. You don't actually have to open that record and edit it that way. As well as what you can do, most of you will have a mass action or a mass update or delete. This is actually a third-party app that's installed that we're installing for all Youth for Christ chapters. Simply click the records you want to update, and you can hit mass delete, mass update. You pick the record that you want to update. This is good. You can do up to 200 values at a time. So maybe you want to update the stage of it to a different posted or pledged. You could go ahead and do that. You get a little warning icon. Hit OK, and we'll update that. So we're going to cancel out of that. So that's really in general list views. I usually recommend if there's a good list view you like and you just want a minor tweak, go ahead and edit. But if you want to create a whole new list view, totally feel free. Hit create new, name your list view. I'm going to create one here quick. Pledge donations. Like I said, you're just going to walk down here. We're going to want to sort it by stage because that's where pledged is. So you really want to understand your data before you start piecing into here. So stage is going to equal pledged. And then I want to figure out, and that's all I want to filter by. You know, if I wanted to maybe do pledged and any pledge gift that was over $1,000 or whatever it might be, you can add those criteria there. We're just going to keep it simple for this example. So these are my selected fields. You know, I don't want anybody else to see this list view, so I just want to save it for me. Hit save, and hopefully we have some data in here that will actually display. Oh yeah, there we go. So we've got a few pledge donations. So just a nice way to really consolidate some of your data. And if you understand how to do list views, when you graduate to our next video for reports, it's really going to make a lot more sense. Hopefully this helps and you found it valuable.